Welcome to Royal Secret. She was once the girl from Tasmania with no crown, no title, and no ties to European royalty. Now, Queen Mary of Denmark is being hailed as the monarchy's most powerful secret weapon. From dazzling diplomatic tours to rewriting royal tradition, Queen Mary is no longer standing in King Frederic's shadow, she's leading Denmark's royal family into a bold new era. But how did this modern Cinderella rewrite the rulebook of royalty? And why is 2025 already being called the most defining year of her reign? The answer will shock you. In the world of monarchy, where bloodlines once mattered more than merit, Queen Mary has always been the anomaly. Born Mary Elizabeth Donaldson in 1972 in Hobart, Tasmania, few could have predicted she would one day become Queen of Denmark. Her journey, often labeled a fairy tale, is now viewed as something far more potent, a modern reinvention of royalty. But this year, everything has changed. It's not just that Queen Mary stepped into the role of Queen Consort when Queen Margrethe II abdicated on January 14, 2024. It's what she's done since then, in the quiet corridors of diplomacy, in the dazzling spotlight of international events, and behind closed palace doors. Mary hasn't just accepted the crown. She's wielded it with grace, strategy, and stunning force. Sources close to the Danish court whisper that it's Mary, not Frederick, who has become the royal family's most crucial asset. From her warm public presence to her no-nonsense approach to charity, fashion, and political sensitivity, Queen Mary has reshaped what it means to be a modern queen. And 2025, it's the year she's turning heads across the globe. To understand Queen Mary's power today, we need to rewind the clock. When she first met Crown Prince Frederik at the Sydney Olympics in 2000, the Danish media called her a mystery woman. But Mary Donaldson was no ordinary foreign girlfriend. Fluent in multiple languages, professionally accomplished, and fiercely private, she brought a confidence that most royal brides had to develop over time. Even after marrying into the royal family in 2004, Queen Mary refused to be a silent figurehead. She carved out a role for herself in areas Danish royals rarely touched: health advocacy, immigrant integration, and even LGBTQ+ rights. She modernized the image of Danish royalty from within, often carefully, sometimes boldly, and always with purpose. Now, 2 decades later, that purpose is at its peak. When Queen Margrethe shocked the world by announcing her abdication on New Year's Eve 2023, all eyes turned to Frederick and Mary. The transition of power was swift and symbolic. Queen Mary didn't just become a queen, she became a new face of Denmark. Within weeks, she was attending high-level meetings with global leaders, launching fresh royal initiatives, and fronting cultural campaigns with international resonance. While King Frederik focused on continuity, Queen Mary championed innovation. They're dynamic, not just king and queen, but partners in modern monarchy. According to Danish royal insiders, Queen Mary's role is deliberately evolving beyond traditional consort duties. She's becoming Denmark's most visible ambassador, one court source revealed. And her influence is growing by the day. So what exactly has Queen Mary done in 2025 that's turned her into a secret weapon? Let's begin with her strategy. First, her calendar. From hosting global climate summits to opening ballet galas in Paris, Queen Mary's schedule is a masterclass in soft power. She's used fashion to send messages, like when she wore sustainable Danish designers at the UN's Environmental Conference in Copenhagen, and her speeches are now studied in diplomatic circles. Second, her public image. Queen Mary has embraced transparency, allowing the press and public rare access to royal planning meetings, cultural projects, and charity workshops. She's become a media darling not because of tabloid scandal, but because of her substance. And third, her relationships. Queen Mary has built strong ties not only with Denmark's allies, but with other royal houses. Her unexpected joint appearance with Queen Maxima of the Netherlands at a Women's Economic Summit in April shocked royal watchers, sparking headlines about a new alliance of modern queens. Yet behind all these moves is something deeper, a belief that monarchy must evolve or fade. And Queen Mary is determined not to let the latter happen. Every appearance, every speech, every brooch, every subtle pause in her delivery. Queen Mary isn't just performing royal duties, she's orchestrating a transformation. One palace aide anonymously described it as chess in heels. While King Frederik continues to be the steady monarch focused on tradition, Queen Mary is executing a quiet revolution through strategy. Take, for instance, the surprise visit to Greenland in March 2025, Mary's first solo visit there as Queen. While many expected a symbolic trip with smiling photos and a recycled speech, Mary did something radical. She arrived unannounced to several remote Inuit communities, listened instead of lectured, and later advocated for indigenous youth funding in the Danish parliament. The result? A 19% rise in Greenlandic approval for the monarchy, the highest since the 1990s. That's not coincidence. That's Queen Mary's method. Authenticity is influence. Denmark's royal image has always leaned toward subtlety. But Queen Mary, without ever breaking protocol, has introduced something the monarchy hadn't seen in decades: magnetic relevance. It's what Danish columnists are now calling the Mary effect. When she wears a Danish label, sales triple. When she supports a charity, its funding surges. When she speaks at an event, international coverage follows even when King Frederik is present. At a Copenhagen Health Tech Summit in early 2025, Mary gave a 10-minute keynote on maternal mortality that stunned global observers. Her statistics were precise, her tone urgent, and her final line: "Being born safely should not depend on your geography." That clip alone was viewed 2.4 million times on social media platforms, with many unaware they were watching a queen. The key to the Mary effect isn't flash. It's fluency in media, in politics, in human connection. Unlike other royals, Queen Mary has navigated the media without ever letting it navigate her. She has no scandals, no feuds, no Instagram filters. Instead, she's cultivated a consistent brand: regal, smart, and impossible to catch off guard. In April 2025, when a European outlet tried to bait her into criticizing Meghan Markle's influence on royal life, Queen Mary smiled politely and said, "Each monarchy must walk its own path. Ours walks forward, together." The quote exploded across the continent. No digs, no drama, just diplomacy disguised as elegance. She's also mastered fashion diplomacy, the art of using clothing to send messages. When she met with Ukraine's First Lady during the UN Peace Conference in Geneva, Mary wore a deep blue blouse with a yellow pin. Subtle, powerful, instantly viral, and yet, she still maintains an air of mystery. There are no leaked voicemails, no secret Netflix deals, no palace drama. In a world where royalty often slides into spectacle, Queen Mary has turned restraint into power. If 2025 is Mary's biggest year yet, it's because she has expanded her role beyond Denmark's borders. After attending the funeral of Emperor Akihito of Japan in March, where she was one of only 2 Western queens invited, Queen Mary emerged as a trusted face in global diplomacy. Reports later confirmed that she quietly held informal talks with representatives from South Korea, India, and Brazil about Denmark's economic development projects. Her appearance at the Vatican in April 2025 was another subtle bombshell. While King Frederik stayed in Denmark to commemorate a military ceremony, Mary joined Pope Leo XIV for a private audience. Royal watchers buzzed. This was no routine visit. Her outfit, a minimalist ivory dress and floor-length veil, drew praise for blending tradition with modern style. But it was her comments afterward that shocked even her most loyal fans. The role of monarchy today is not to rule but to represent, not only heritage but humanity. That single sentence landed on the front page of Le Monde, Der Spiegel, and The Guardian. Even more telling, Queen Letizia of Spain reportedly sent a private letter praising Mary's words, calling them timely, thoughtful, and true. Behind the glittering gowns and diplomatic mastery lies Queen Mary's most complex role, mother to Denmark's next generation of royals. While her public schedule is packed, Mary is known to fiercely guard the privacy of her 4 children, Christian, Isabella, Vincent, and Josephine. But in 2025, she's made a subtle shift, introducing them more deliberately into royal life. Crown Prince Christian's appearances have surged. At just 19, he's already shadowing both King Frederik and Queen Mary at state events. But insiders reveal it's Mary who has been shaping his public presence, guiding his tone, helping him prepare speeches, and even coordinating his fashion choices. Princess Isabella, freshly 18, has also stepped into the limelight with confidence, often praised for her resemblance to her mother in both style and poise. She was recently seen accompanying Queen Mary to a gender equality event, where both delivered short but rousing speeches. Mary is preparing her children not just to inherit crowns, but to carry values. Poll after poll shows the same result. Denmark adores Queen Mary. As of May 2025, her approval rating among Danes stands at a staggering 88%, higher than any royal figure in Scandinavia. And that's no accident. Mary's approach to public life is rooted in presence, not performance. She attends small events without fanfare, spends time with the elderly in rural care homes, and listens to factory workers with the same interest she offers to CEOs. What many don't see is the work behind the scenes. Queen Mary reportedly spends hours in policy briefings before public events, often requesting extra briefings beyond what protocol demands. She's deeply involved in the work of the Mary Foundation, which addresses domestic violence, bullying, and loneliness, issues that rarely make royal headlines, but that Mary insists remain central to her mission. And when Denmark suffered severe flooding in April, Queen Mary was among the first on the ground. Not for a photo op, but to meet with displaced families and push for emergency resources. She was there before most of our politicians, one local mayor commented. Thanks for watching and please don't forget to subscribe.